Hello, Jackie Roby, Chief Excellence Officer, Inspired Journey Consulting here. And I'm thrilled to have with me a friend for so long, for so many years, Jeannie Porter, who is the Manager of Program Partnerships at Restore New York. Jeannie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here and talking to you.
So Jeannie and I met years ago. We kept seeing each other at trade show circuits, basically
Yes.
standing next to each other at tables, presenting to travel advisors. The world has brought us back together in a beautiful way, and I love that. So tell us, while you're here, what is Restore and what do you do for them?
Sure. Yeah. So as you mentioned, I started in the hotel industry, and that's been my career for 15 years, but I've always had a heart for humanitarian causes, and particularly working with women and even beyond that, immigrant women. And I came into Restore NYC as a volunteer a few years ago. And with the hotel industry in its current state, I was looking for work recently, and they were kind enough to extend me an offer to come and work for them. My position is as a business development person for them, which is what I've been doing in the hotel field. So it seems like a good fit. And Restore is an anti-trafficking organization. The mission of Restore is to, as the name implies, restore the lives of the women who have been trafficked into this country from all parts of the world, to get them back on their feet with care, financial stability, and really just to give them a life that is free.
That's beautiful. When these women are brought here and trafficked, can you tell us a little bit about their journey, who they are, how old they are, etc.?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that. So the demographics of our clients are really quite broad. Restore as an organization for the past 10 years has been serving foreign nationals exclusively, which means that these are all women that have been trafficked from outside of the United States into the country, and specifically into the state of New York. Just this year, they expanded the mission to include domestic survivors of trafficking. And so that means anyone that's been moved across state lines for the purposes of whether it's work or sexual trafficking, which is actually work as well. The women range in age everywhere from teenagers all the way up to women in their 60s. They are from all over the world and from all over the United States. Some of them have high school degrees, some of them don't quite have those yet. And then we have women that actually have degrees from their native countries in basically an equivalency of a bachelor's degree. They really are quite unique from one to the next. They all just share this horrible injustice that they've been put through.
I can't even fathom. You mentioned that you were drawn to working specifically with immigrants. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always worked in the hotel business, and so I've gotten to travel all over the world in the past and have had great experiences meeting people from other cultures. And I just have a very strong connection and support the idea of giving our immigrants in our country a satisfying and productive life. I feel that they should have the same rights that I have been given. So I guess that's where the interest came from.
That's beautiful. So to the women that you're working with and you're helping and you're building these partnerships, talk a little bit about how partners that you're looking for, how they can support Restore.
Absolutely. We have so many programs, and as a volunteer, I didn't quite realize the reach, but now that I'm working with the organization, I have such clarity into the many ways that they support survivors of trafficking. My particular team is called the Economic Empowerment Team, and this part of Restore really works to provide jobs and financial stability for the women. So my role is looking for hotels as well as other, sorry, my dog is apparently done with his bone.
I love him.
Just saying hi. Keeping it real here today. Yeah, so my job is working with businesses in New York City that are willing to employ our survivors. So I can tell you a little bit about how that process works, and hopefully it will prompt someone that's watching today to get the wheels turning and connect. We have about 60 women that pre-COVID were employed, all in the Restore network. So doing various jobs, some entry level, but some as managers in retail spaces, all of these things. About 80% of them from March to June lost either all of their work or had a severe reduction in hours, 80%. I mean, you and I being in the travel field, we know that our industry also was hit pretty badly from that, but 80% is a really devastating number. So what I can tell you that's actually positive is since then, we did another, about 33% of them have been reemployed. So that's as of October. This is due to partners that we've been able to reach who have been extending opportunities for these women. These are basically any company that you can think of. It could be a mom and pop. It could be a private individual, maybe looking for elder care or nanny care. It could be assembly line work. It could be clerical, administrative, janitorial. These women have a broad range of skills, interests, and availabilities. So essentially, my job is to find businesses in New York who can employ and work with our women.
I think that's amazing. And really, what we're looking for are companies who care about inclusivity, who,
Absolutely.
want to help us. I really think it's so important to stress the different levels of background. When we talked about demographics a little bit ago, it shows, let's look at this individual. This is an individual. This is a person. This is not a group of that can be put in a box, right? So
Absolutely.
you've got incredibly, talented women from all over the world that
Yes.
need our help.
Yes, and their interests are so varied. We have women working as potters, we have women working as seamstresses, we have women, as I mentioned, managing a retail store in the fashion industry. They're really capable, competent, and motivated for work.
I think that's amazing. Real quick, could you tell a little bit about what Restore does? I know not your team specifically, but to help support them to be ready for this journey into employment.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts with the very first care that they're given, which is health and wellness counseling and physical care. So it's things to prepare them to just get past the trauma that they've gone through and to ensure that they are in fact ready to enter the workplace. But when they self-declare that they are interested in work and ready to get back to business, many of them have held jobs before their trafficking, so they are somewhat experienced. When they tell us that they're ready, we do encourage them, and they actually have to participate in an 8-week course that we do provide at Restore. And the course is job readiness skills that you might expect anywhere else, like how to write a resume or how to interview. But we incorporate things as well that like how the trauma that they've been through might affect them in the workplace so that they're a little bit prepared for triggering events. And we also have a section that's focused on giving and receiving feedback, which frankly, I wish that someone had offered me that class when I was looking to get into jobs, because that's something that everyone could use, I think, a little brushing up on. So we do put them through this 8-week course, and they leave really emboldened to get back into the workplace and feeling a lot more confident about their ability to do so.
I mean, honestly, that process is so thoughtful and important for everything that they've experienced. Trauma survivors need so much support, and to be able to have that really detailed training and counseling around their own triggers and how to support those supported efforts in their career, it's unheard of, and it's really, really extraordinary. I'm so glad that you've found your way to Restore.
Thank you. I am too. I think the work that Restore does as an organization is so specific, but it's also so broad. And I am continually impressed with my colleagues and how incredibly talented and smart and empathetic and kind they are.
Well, Jeannie, so grateful for your time. Tell us how everyone can connect with you and with Restore and be of service.
Absolutely. I believe you have links to Restore and my LinkedIn and all of those good things. So I'll let you push those out for social media. And that's a great way to get in touch with us and also to learn more about what we do as an organization. But specifically, I would just appeal to you if you happen to know any business in New York City that might be open to hiring, if it's someone specifically in HR or in a DEI capacity, any of those people that you're able to connect me with, I would be extremely appreciative.
Fabulous. All right. So hear that, everyone. If you've subscribed to the Inspired Journey Consultant newsletter, you're going to have some additional information and links there. It'll also be on YouTube, and I'll continually be shouting it out. So thank you again, Jeannie. And support Restore, please.
Thank you so much, Jackie.